Have you noticed these days that everywhere we look, we can see people fighting to be seen, to be understood, to belong, to recognize where they come from, fighting for space, fighting for jobs, fighting for land, fighting for culture. And before I go any further, let me also say this. I see the intent. I see people coming together for the right reasons. I see governments trying to create space for minorities. I see organizations investing in diversity and inclusion. I see communities gathering around identities that have historically been overlooked or misunderstood. And all this begins from a good place. I see it. But lately I've also been wondering about something. What is the destination of the fight, though? Over the years, I've had the privilege of coaching people from across different countries, cultures, professions, levels, ranks, designations, personality types, communication styles, beliefs, and identities. And after thousands of such conversations, one thing keeps surprising me, that the differences are real, but the needs are remarkably similar. Below almost every struggle I have coached sits some combination of the need for dignity, respect, safety, love, belonging. All different stories and different labels and different journeys, but the same human need. And once you see that, it's very difficult to unsee it as well. Which makes me wonder, if our deepest needs are so similar, why do we spend so much time focusing on what makes us different? Now, don't get me wrong, I am not arguing against differences. Quite the opposite. I think differences are beautiful. I am married into a culture different from my own. And over the years, I've heard endless observations about how people from one part of the country differ from people from another. How they think, how they behave, how they communicate, relate. And some of those observations may even be true. But eventually I find myself returning to the same thought. We're all still human. We all still want to be loved, respected. And we want our lives to matter. Just that the details change. But the humanity doesn't. And perhaps that's why an experience that I had in Bali this Feb stayed with me so deeply. So I attended a cultural assimilation evening where people shared their traditions through dance, music, storytelling, and performance. And what struck me wasn't the difference. It was the absence of fear. Nobody was defending their culture. Nobody was demanding recognition. Nobody was proving they deserved a place or that they were right. They were simply sharing something they loved passionately. And the rest of us were simply curious, learning, appreciating, participating. And the energy felt completely different. Not like make room for me, but come, let me make room for you. Not scarcity, abundance. No defensiveness but generosity. No proving but sharing. And sitting there, I couldn't but help wonder, what if this is the world we're actually trying to create? Not a world where differences disappear. That sounds incredibly boring. But a world where differences are celebrated without threatening our shared humanity. A world where we don't have to choose between identity and belonging. A world where belonging comes first and the differences become gifts we bring to the table. Because the ultimate goal of diversity isn't division into increasingly small categories. Perhaps the goal is creating a humanity large enough to hold all of them, right? And that brings me to something I think about often when I look at young generations. Every generation inherits a world, and every generation leaves one behind. The question is, what are we teaching the people who come after us to notice first? Are we teaching them to sort people or understand them? Are we teaching them categories or curiosity? Are we teaching them belonging as a reward or belonging as a starting point? Because those lessons shape everything that follows. And the older I get, the less interested I become in deciding which box people should fit in. And the more interested I become in understanding what makes them human. Because underneath every identity, every culture, nationality, belief, preference, label, I keep finding the same things, same human needs. And this is what gives me hope. Not that we all become the same, I don't want that. I hope we become better at celebrating our differences without forgetting what holds us together. I hope we build a world where nobody has to prove their identity to belong. A world where belonging comes first, curiosity comes second, and probably labels at a distant third or never. And the question worth asking you today is this: not which side are you on, but what are you teaching the people who come after you to notice first? The label or the human being carrying it?